Hello and welcome to A Closer Look. My name is Gail Tatum. Today I have the fun and privilege of interviewing some North Penn students, all of whom are seniors, who were involved in the Governor's Schools program that were held across the state this year. With me now are two young men, Lee McCumber and Doug Philibom. I'm glad you're both with me. Thanks for being here. And you both were in different schools this summer around the state. Lee, where were you? And tell me what the title of your school was and the university that you attended.
Well, I went to the Pennsylvania Governor's School for Agricultural Sciences,
Okay.
and that was held at Penn State at State College.
At State College. And were you all in one dorm?
They actually split it to two different dorms,
Okay.
one for the guys and
Okay.
one for the girls.
Okay. All right. How many of you were there? Do you have any idea?
There were 64 of us total.
Just 64. That's a small group. And agricultural sciences, why?
Well, I liked biology. When I
Okay.
read what they would do,
Mhm.
it had a lot to do with biology, not just farming,
Okay.
but animal and plant science biology.
Of course, Penn State's program there is so fine that
Yes.
you probably had wonderful facilities.
It was really nice.
It was really nice. And Doug, you were where?
I was at the Pennsylvania Governor's School for Healthcare,
For
and that was
healthcare.
held at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center at the Pitt campus.
At the Pitt campus. And is
Mhm.
that right in the city?
Yeah, it's right down in Oakland, right middle of the city.
Okay,
That's
right in the middle of the city. And how large was your group?
Our class had 150 students
Okay,
from all across the state.
all across the state. And you were housed there and had classes all together in one place?
Yeah, we were all in one big tower.
One big tower.
Of the dorm, yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm interested that I know that there are many different subjects that you can study, different schools which focus on different areas of concentration. Why did you choose the healthcare one? Why was that of interest to you?
I chose healthcare because I'm looking into going into being a physician one day, and
Okay.
it's such a commitment to your life.
Yes.
4 years undergrad, then 4 years med school,
Yes.
and then 3 to 5 years of residency.
That's huge.
So, and all the financial, you'd be running a large debt if you go through that. So you have to make sure it's what you really want to do.
Okay.
So they pair you with a doctor
Oh.
or someone else. That, you might want to be in administration. People were with administrators or insurance So you could do any different thing. And I was put with a surgeon, and I got to see what he did on a day-to-day basis, and it was really good.
Isn't that exciting? Did you
Mhm.
watch surgeries?
I got to see he was a kidney transplant.
Wow.
He did kidneys, and I was lucky to see that, and I also got to see him do some consultations,
Okay.
because he has to be really sure before he does
Sure,
the
before he
operation.
does something like that.
Mhm.
So that was very valuable to you.
It was, yeah, it was
Did it help you
eye-opening.
with your decision making?
Yeah, I still plan. I can't say exactly what specialty,
Sure.
but
No,
I would.
of course.
But I'm still looking to go into med school.
Okay. All right. So that was really great for you.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? You have an interest in biology, it sounds like, and you're not maybe sure which way to use biology, or?
I wasn't quite sure. When we had to do a independent study project,
Huh.
and we got to pick from a list, and one of the ones I picked was to do with molecular biology,
Okay.
and I got to shadow a graduate student and her professor in the genetics and behavior lab,
Nice.
and it had to do with genetics but also molecular biology, and I got to do a research project with them to help them further their research.
Okay.
And I got to learn a lot about lab techniques and stuff, and I liked that.
Did you? You
And-
liked the lab atmosphere?
Yeah, so I think I might be heading towards that kind of work.
Okay. So towards science, really,
Mhm.
that's directed to research. Maybe.
Research, yes.
Isn't that neat? Now, how long was your program?
5 weeks long.
5 weeks. Was yours also?
They're all 5 weeks.
They were all
Yes.
5 weeks. So it's mostly the month of July and part of August.
First week of August. Yeah.
Is that right? Now I assume that you work very hard, but you play as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
They have things planned for you.
There's a certain amount of work that has to be done,
Yes.
which you get to. I guess it's kind of like college, because you get to spread it out the way you want to do it.
Uh-huh.
And it came down to pretty much the last week. There was a lot of work to be done, because you could have fun the first weeks. You met a lot of nice people and had some good friends.
Sure. And you have one roommate, or were you in rooms with lots of kids?
I just had one.
Just one roommate, and you as well.
Yeah, just one.
Do you feel you have some friends you're going to keep up with? Lee, did you feel like you have somebody you're going to
Oh,
keep
definitely.
in touch with over this coming year?
Yes, I'm already keeping in touch with many of them.
Are you?
Yeah.
You may have met people, Doug, who you're going to you'll be applying to the same schools next year. You think that's possible?
That's partly possible. Actually, my residence counselor he's a junior at Yale, and our whole dorm group, everyone that's thinking of going there is going to go up and stay in his dorm.
So they have.
So we're doing that sometime this winter.
That's neat. So you have an inside track there when you're looking at schools this year. The application for Governor School is quite rigorous, I think. Is that right?
And the deadlines, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And did you have a lot to write, Lee? Was it a difficult application?
I had to do 3 essays.
3 essays. That's
And
pretty rigorous.
you had to have teacher recommendation forms, your transcript, and a list of activities that you do.
Okay. All right. Same. Yours is similar. I assume
Yeah.
that they're pretty standard.
We had to have 2 essays and, same
Uh-huh.
components as his, yeah.
That's neat. That's really wonderful. Now, just so people will have a sense of your other interests, because clearly you're both good students. I know that anyone who's admitted to this has a strong academic record because you're with other students who are also very bright and working very hard, and the coursework moves along quickly. But what else are you involved with here at North Penn?
Okay, I swim and I play water polo,
Okay.
and I'm in the orchestra also. I've been in the orchestra for a long time. I've always played the cello, and I actually was admitted to the Governor's School for Arts,
Okay.
but I chose healthcare.
Okay, you had
So
to
that's
make a
mine.
choice.
Mhm.
All right. And you told me that you are a North Penn, you've been a North Penn student right from the beginning, is that right?
K to 12.
K to 12, okay. And Lee, what about you?
Well, I run winter track,
Okay,
and I am on the volleyball team,
all right.
and I've been a member of the concert band for a long time,
Okay,
too.
so you both have athletic and musical interests as well. And you were born here, and you said you've been through North Penn schools all the way.
All the way, K
So
through 12.
You're seniors, and hope you have a wonderful year. Don't go away. I'm going to be joined by some other students who also attended Pennsylvania Governor's Schools this summer. We'll be right back.
Michael Jordan, UNCF, take 1.
We're here to tell you about the College Fund. It was set up to help deserving kids get a chance to be what they want to be. Are there any future doctors in the house? Yeah! Any scientists? Yeah! What about teachers? Yeah! All right, now who's going to play professional basketball? Come on. It's a good job. Please join me and support the College Fund. If mine is a terrible thing to waste.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle. The circle that helps this circle by recycling trash. We sort glass, plastic, separate cans, stack newspapers and magazines. Now, thanks to us, there are lots of products made from things we've already recycled. This cereal box wants your Sunday paper. These paper clips, in a more daring life, a 56 convertible. The circle works like this. It starts when we recycle trash at home and at work. It's completed when we buy products made from or packaged in recycled materials. How do you know the difference? Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. It looks like this. Make a mental note. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. You'll save a tree, you'll save energy, and in your own way, you'll help save the world. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-CALL-EDF for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide. 1-800-CALL-EDF.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Put that booties in the backseat. Have action kids you never meet. I'm here to remind you to put them behind you. Wow, look at here. You stay alive even when I drive.
Thanks for joining us again. With me now are 3 more students who attended Pennsylvania Governor's Schools for the Sciences, all 3 at the School for the Sciences this summer. Thanks for being here with me. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
So you were all together,
Yes.
all in the same school. Josephine, did you enjoy it?
Oh, very much.
Did you? And you were at which university?
Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie Mellon.
In
and
Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, which you were telling me, or Ben was saying, is in a real nice area, but it's still very much a city, right?
We could walk out to one side and be down in more of the inner city type place.
Okay, well that's
But
good.
even that was fairly nice.
That's a good experience. Ben, how many students were at the School for Sciences? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I think there were 90 students there.
90 students. All right, and they were from all over the state.
Yeah, from all over the state. They try to balance, they take more from the cities, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Sure, bigger population base.
They try to make it even so that you meet people that you wouldn't necessarily come in contact with.
Yeah,
You don't get a roommate from your area.
that's good. Yeah, you wouldn't want that. You want to be able to meet some new people. And Rishi, was it great for you?
Yeah, I really loved it.
Did you?
We learned a lot academically and socially, and had a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, that's good. You need to have fun as well. Did you have areas that you specialized in, or did you all have the same kind of classes? Josephine?
We all took the same classes, but we had a lab and team project that was based on one of the 5 major areas that we studied in our core courses.
Okay, and what were those 5 areas?
Organic chemistry, cell biology, modern physics, discrete math, and computer science.
Okay, so you really covered the gamut. And were you assigned to a team project, Ben, based on your own area, or was that random?
No, based on your interest.
Okay.
First you picked an area, computer science for instance, and then there were specified team projects within that area, and you got to choose among those and fight it out with your fellow students.
And how large was your team?
My team was 3 people. I think it was one of the smallest.
And what was your subject area?
We were in computer science, and we programmed computer stacked like the human brain. We did neural networks.
You did. 3 of you. And you worked in conjunction with a faculty member?
They guided us, but unlike the other governor's schools, we didn't help them with their research. We did our own research,
you did your own.
wrote a paper, published the paper, that kind of stuff.
Isn't that exciting? Rishi, what was your area of concentration?
I did chemistry, and ours was a little different because we had the chem lab, and then the team project was actually a spectroscopy team project.
Okay.
But we could choose whatever we wanted, any project we want, but we would just analyze things with spectroscopy. So it's completely open-ended. And we had 6 people in our group, and we chose to work with trying to inhibit a chemical reaction by placing its reactants inside of micelles, which are small spherical vessels made of surfactants. And we were able to stop the reaction somewhat, about 10%. We were able to slow it down.
That's wonderful.
It was pretty neat.
That was pretty neat. Josephine, were you in a different area from each of them?
I did computer science too.
You did, but you weren't on Ben's team.
No, I was not on Ben's team. I cannot handle neural networks. This was the first time I ever programmed, and our team did a genetic algorithm.
Oh.
We simulated rats running through a maze, but that was just basically the name for our project.
For your project. And how large was your team?
We had 4 people working on genetic algorithms, but we had a sister group of another 4 people doing neural nets on a similar principle with rats in a maze.
That's something.
And we presented together. It was a very large group.
It was a large group. Now, did you pick areas that you think you're going to follow, or was it mostly just out of curiosity? Did you pick something that you think you have an interest in pursuing, or that you just wanted to learn about?
Well, it was more, I'm interested in chemistry, and I haven't learned much of organic chemistry yet. They haven't taught it in high school.
Right.
And so I thought it'd fill a large gap, plus it'd help a lot in college because I've heard lots of stories about organic chemistry in college.
That's one of the courses you hear about people most often dread, that it's very rigorous.
So we got a head start.
Good.
And it was fun, too.
And it was fun. Ben, is computer science your heart's desire?
I took that mostly out of interest because there were facilities there that I wouldn't get to use anywhere else. And, I even went to the governor's school basically out of curiosity. I wanted to learn stuff. It wasn't that I was so channeled into just doing science. I like to kind of keep
just
rolling.
have the experience of things. That's good. Josephine, are you going to, you said this was the first time you did computer science, so that isn't necessarily something you want to pursue, or did you tweak your interests?
I thought I was going to be a biologist.
And
my father said, well, you're going to Carnegie Mellon. You had better do computer.
Oh, because they're famous for computer.
Right, so I switched into it at the last possible minute.
Okay.
Almost the last possible minute. And now I'm considering it as a double major in college.
Because you really liked it.
I want to learn more of it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you had a good time. And it was 5 weeks?
Yeah.
So you worked real hard every morning. You'd have class every day, and
yeah, up till 3 every night.
Until you were up till 3 every night,
or later.
But it was a good time.
But it was fun because we worked together with all the other kids.
Right. And did you make some good friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of good friends.
Good. Just so that people who are watching this would have a sense of your other interests beyond this. What are some of your interests? What else are you involved with here at North Penn?
I do science research competitions.
Yes, I know that.
Music, I used to be in the orchestra, but I learned more Indian classical music at home from my mother, and violin, classical guitar. I also really like photography. I'm learning a lot of that on my own.
Good, good. Ben, how about you? What do you do here at North Penn?
Real into the band, I guess. I'm the
you?
president of the marching band.
I didn't know that.
I do district, regional, state band, stuff like that.
That takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
I like some sports. I don't play tennis here anymore. I used to.
Okay.
I play soccer. I like rock climbing.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Good. Good. Josephine, what are you involved with here at the school?
I'm into music.
Into music?
I like to play the piano.
Okay. All right.
And I do church-type stuff.
Okay. Involved
and
outside of school.
There's assorted little clubs here, like National Honor Society, Academic Decathlon.
Okay.
I'm not into sports at all.
Right.
I would be extremely poor athlete.
Academic Decathlon did very well last year. Is it going to be another good year?
We hope.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Well, thanks for joining me. I'm glad to hear about your experience. Sounds like it was great.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, stay right here. Don't go away. We have one more student that we're going to be interviewing who was involved with Presidential Classroom as well as the Governor's School this summer. We'll be right back.
I haven't made up my mind yet. What are you going to take?
Algebra.
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 If no one's explained how algebra, geometry, and calculus can improve your future, demand that you be told. Call NACME. We'll tell you.
Every day I try my best to meet the challenges that come with doing the toughest job in the world. If I fail, the consequences could be serious. That job isn't being president, it's being a parent.
And today, with drugs and all the other pressures facing our children, it's tougher than ever to be a good parent. It's a job that none of us can do alone. That's why 350 wonderful organizations have come together to create the Coalition for America's Children to help parents raise good kids.
The Coalition knows hundreds of ways you can help. Whether you're a young adult who can serve as a role model for troubled teens, or a retired person who can supervise an after-school program, the Coalition can help you get involved, right in your own community. We hope you will contact the Coalition soon and find a role that fits your schedule and your interests. You can make a difference. Thank you.
Do you think you have the power to change the world?
I can shape the future, one child at a time.
I know I can make a difference in those children's lives, and I know I have.
Who knows where my influence may stop?
I teach.
I teach.
I teach.
Yes, they're teachers, but to the kids they reach, they're heroes.
I think I have the power to change the world. The influence is always there.
Do you have the power to wake up young minds, to be someone's hero, to change someone's life? Reach for that power. Teach. If you want to make an impact on our future, call 1-800-45-TEACH. Want to change the world?
I teach. I teach.
I teach. I teach.
I teach. I teach.
Be a teacher. Be a hero.
Thanks for joining me again. With me now is Jeremy Sturcio, who is a senior at North Penn, who had 2 wonderful experiences this summer, and we're going to talk to him about both. Jeremy, you really had quite a summer.
Sure did. It was a lot of fun.
You really did. Was
yes,
it?
Yes.
I know that you were involved with the Governor's School for International Studies, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to talk about what you did first, and that was
Presidential Classroom.
Presidential Classroom. Now, what is that?
Well, it's an interactive learning experience. You spend a week in Washington.
Okay.
There are really 3 components to the program.
Okay.
Seminars consist of experts in Washington who present on a particular topic. For example, we had a former ambassador, head of the American Academy of Diplomacy, speak about power in Washington.
Okay.
Where is it? Who has it? It was an interesting seminar.
It would be interesting, yeah, for people who really know.
Sure,
Right,
exactly.
right.
That was the most amazing part, is that
Yeah.
these people, it's their everyday life.
Right. It's what
You know,
they
and
do.
they're telling you firsthand what
Yeah.
it's like, and then you go and you experience it. You find out.
Yeah.
Other
you had
sessions.
seminars,
yes.
okay.
Other components included a crossfire session where we would have a topic such as welfare,
Okay.
and we would discuss that topic.
So students would be prepared to discuss a topic. Is that right? So
Yes.
there would be a group who would discuss that topic and a group that would discuss another topic? And
Yes.
you would also be in the audience to watch each other, or how did that
Well,
work?
it didn't actually happen quite like that.
Okay.
we chose our crossfires before we arrived.
Oh,
and we
okay.
and so we went in knowing that we should be familiar with these topics, so we were supposed to research or at least keep
Have a
abreast
little
of
something.
what was going on.
Good.
And then we had a moderator who
right.
just initiated the dialogue and discussion. And then it really took off from there because you would have, for example, in the welfare discussion, we had a student from South Central Los Angeles talking firsthand about what it's like to be on welfare and dispelling many of the myths about, oh, well, what is a welfare person? And just by her speaking, you could say, well, yeah, maybe I need to rethink this because she was eloquent and she knew what she was talking about. On the other hand, you had conservatives from rural areas saying, look, we're losing jobs and the government money can't be going to programs like this. So it was very intense, but also very civil and very interesting.
Isn't that something? All right, so you had crossfire and seminars, and what was the third part?
Well, that was primarily on-site visits.
Okay.
We went to the State Department. We did Capitol Hill for 2 days. We met our senators and representatives.
Okay, that's fun.
And I mean, whether or not you agree with your senator, whether or not you agree with your representative, it is an amazing experience just to be there.
Yeah, and to see it.
And the weather was great in Washington those days. We went to the Supreme Court. It felt like every day I learned something new, and I just went back to my room. It was midnight by the time I went to bed, but I said, gosh, what a great day.
It was a great day.
Yeah.
Now, you said it was a week-long program.
Yes.
1 week. And how many students were involved?
Well, I was the only student who went from our school, although 2 others went earlier in the year. I went in June. So 2 other students went to different programs earlier in the year.
Okay.
But I would say that there were about 250 students from across the nation, and truly across the nation.
Really,
everywhere.
it was everywhere.
Every state.
And where were you housed?
In the Sheraton Washington Hotel.
Okay, so you're in a hotel.
Yes.
And somebody would meet you, and then you'd go to these different places around. You'd walk, I suppose, to a lot of them, didn't you?
We used what was called the caucus system.
Okay.
So there were 6 caucuses, broke down 40 people each about.
Okay.
And that's how they did it.
All right. Now, you were telling me before that you watched some of the Senate debates.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And now, what was that like? Did you sit up in the balcony?
Yes. I had to wait a while to get into the Senate gallery, but once I did, it was worth it because Senator. I'm sorry, I can't. Well, Pete Domenici was arguing for Medicare premiums to not be raised to 67.
Okay.
And there was another senator who, I believe it was Daschle, who was arguing against it. So here you see, eminent leaders of both the Republican and Democratic parties sparring. And the sort of things you see on the headline news, you were sitting there right there and watching it.
Isn't that neat?
Yes.
So you got to see it, and you were saying before you were struck by the energy that they put into their arguments, but also a sense of decorum, right?
Oh, surely. I mean, each of these politicians has strong ideas about, especially in the Senate, about who they are and what they stand for, yet they put forward the civil protocol, and they're willing to say, I totally disagree with you, but will the senator yield? Why, of course.
So politeness held out in the end, didn't it?
So
that was great. So it was a wonderful week.
Sure, it surely was.
Now, did it influence you? Do you feel it makes you think about things you might want to do, or how does this impact you?
It truly did, because other programs have made me think about leadership and what it means to be a leader and what sort of what constitutes public service and what a life of public service would be. But this program really, I felt it. Just being there, I felt it. Couldn't even put it into words. I sort of had this idea of what it was really like. And I think it's something that I really would enjoy in the future.
That's great. All right, so this was the end of June, and you were done with this program, and you told me you got in the car and drove to the next program. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, it was a mother came down and she picked us up. We loaded up the van and we drove to Pittsburgh across the Shenandoah Mountains.
That's a pretty ride, at least.
Yeah, it was.
And then you began the Governor's School for International Studies.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And that, I assume, was also a 5-week program?
Yes.
Okay, and it was held at Pitt, you said?
Yes.
And that was fun?
It certainly was. Dynamic experience. I'll tell you, I went in expecting a diverse experience, international program, obviously, different countries, different perspectives, different people, but nothing could have prepared me for what I encountered. Yeah.
Now, that was all students from Pennsylvania, but everybody who was, the kids who attended it were all from high schools in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they were all
Although, I'm sorry, there's one exception, a student who lives in Pennsylvania, yet he went to an all-Orthodox Jewish school in Washington. So he brought a different perspective to the scene.
That's interesting, too. And what is International Studies about? I mean, what kinds of things did you look at?
Well, we had 8 or 9 classes a day.
Oh, wow.
One of the primary things was Japanese language, which consisted of a lecture on grammar and then also drill instruction, oral proficiency.
Now, did
sort of
everyone
things.
do that, or was that by choice?
Everyone was required
Everyone
to do
had Japanese.
Yes.
Okay.
Then students chose between 3 selections. You could choose either the politics and law concentration, that's one.
Okay.
Economics and business
Okay.
was another. And societies and cultures was the last.
Okay.
That was the one which I was enrolled in.
Okay.
And each of these attacked different perspectives and disciplines.
Huh, isn't that something?
A few of the other classes that we all took were things like global issues,
Okay.
just looking at the news and analyzing what really is going on. We
From
talked-
different viewpoints instead of just an American viewpoint.
Sure, yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Although that class focused specifically on understanding American foreign policy and the
Okay.
issues at hand. And we
Okay.
dealt very much, not just with headlines, but with real numbers.
Okay. Good. So it was really hands-on.
Yeah.
How many other kids were there with you? Do you have any sense of how
There were
big-
90 students.
There were 90.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. And did you, when I was talking to some of the other students about governor school programs, there were projects and sort of, I get the sense, final project kinds
Yeah.
of things. Was yours structured that way or not? Was it
Yes,
more-
it was.
Was it?
It was. We had a final project that we had to do, and that was a leadership project. In fact, all governor schools, I think, have to do that project. It's our way of giving back to the state what they gave to us, because really it was a privilege to go to the governor's
Yes,
school.
yes, it's quite
So
an honor.
we designed a leadership project that we're supposed to implement in our home community, and I'll be doing that this
Okay.
coming year. But also, we had to write a paper for one of the classes called Intercultural Communication.
Okay.
And that was my first experience at real hands-on, in-depth college-level research.
Right. Good. And did you like it?
Yeah.
It was hard
I
work.
did. The problem was always time, and I think it's
Yeah.
always time.
I
But
think it's true. How do you
it was
do
a lot
that?
of fun. Yeah.
So that's something. Well, it was really, it was an amazing summer that you had.
Certainly was.
It really was. And here you are now, as a senior. I know you're active in lots of things at North Penn. What are your primary focuses this year, do you think?
Well, I'm working very hard at Night Crier.
Okay.
I'm very interested in that, and we have a good staff put together, so we're working.
All right. Are you an editor there this year?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're working hard on that. I'm also thinking about getting back into sports, perhaps playing baseball again.
All right.
Always involved with the student government.
Yes.
A lot of
Good.
friends there. So,
So
just those
you'll
sort
have
of
a
things.
busy year. How long have you been at North Penn? I don't think you began at North Penn.
No.
You moved here
I came here in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. So
Yes.
most of the time you've been at North Penn.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you had a wonderful summer, and I'm sure that you understand that this was really special.
It was.
And
It
that
sure
you
was.
had a great opportunity.
Well, that's
You can bring that back to us.
That's true.
That's
That's why. Just want to give back and tell everyone about it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for coming and sharing it today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, this has been an interesting afternoon talking to these young people who had these remarkable experiences this summer. I'd like to thank Rishi Sanyel, Doug Philibom, Ben Ingram, Lee McCumber, Jeremy Sturcio, Josephine Drew, and Cheryl Roberge, who is a young woman who wasn't with us today, who couldn't come. She went to the Governor's School for Teaching. So I'd like to thank them all, and I hope you all enjoyed sharing what some of our remarkable students at North Penn are doing. My name's Gail Tatum. This has been A Closer Look. I'll see you soon.
Music is a way of learning, integrating all disciplines of education, creating a learning environment where children want to learn. Music is an important part of the classroom curriculum. Children experience history and world cultures as they listen to and perform music of other times and places.
What music means to me is to get a better education. Making the sounds of the music and playing the notes.
Education in the arts promotes higher level thinking skills by fostering creativity, imagination, self-discipline, teamwork, and self-esteem. Involvement in a music program leads to higher SAT scores.
The music program at North Penn has provided me with the skills I need to either pursue a career in music or even a hobby. I know that the North Penn music program will have provided me with the skills that I need to do so.
Music instills a sense of cultural identity and pride in our children. Music is the beat of education.